I did a bit of homework on yourself. Obviously, you're a very, very busy man. I've seen your LinkedIn background, and you've got a lot of fingers and a lot of pies. So, well done for that. Kudos. But I noticed that you have the Circuit Club. So you've been an F1 fan again since how old, Tim?
Yeah, so I actually only got interested in cars when I learned how to drive. Got my my provisional license. So I was probably about 16 or 17. And, we were a little bit naughty, and we used to go to like a mountain pass here in Sydney and, sort of drive up and down the spirited driving, let's say, on the back roads. And we've got like a really cool place called Mooney, which is a bit north of Sydney, but it's got they're just beautiful roads to drive on. And frankly, it got a little bit dangerous. People were crashing their cars and things like that. And so we, one of our university friends said, "Hey, let's go to Wakefield Park," which is one of the small racetracks here in Sydney. And so we went, but it was really expensive. And so we were like, we can't afford to do this all the time, but we loved, it was our thing all day, every day, talking about how to go fast. And so we ended up pulling together all of our money, and we hired out the racetrack for the day. And we said, hey, we're going to sell tickets for other people to come to the track day, and hopefully we can break even so that we can come for free. And I think we lost $50 on our first track day. But the four of us did it for about 15 years. 6 to 10 times a year, we would book out a racetrack and then, stress our heads off trying to sell the tickets to it. And, after a while, it was a great way for all of us to stick together, do what we love doing. And it ended up taking us to Spa-Francorchamps. We did a track day there.
Amazing.
To Nürburgring, Nordschleife. And so we started doing these track days everywhere. And so it was amazing. And actually, it's one funny thing that I should try and dig a copy up. We actually started a little magazine, a little newspaper. It was, it'd be about 8 pages. It was actually inspired by the Red Bulletin, which was this sort of satirical newspaper that Red Bull did maybe 15 years ago around the Formula One. And we actually went to the Melbourne F1 about 20 years ago now, and we said, hey, we're from the circuit. That's what we called our little magazine. And they gave us media passes on a Thursday, and so we were able to go to the pit lane. And we've actually got some photos. I remember because we went to Nico Rosberg. So it must have been 2007 or 8 actually. I remember we got Nico Rosberg we said, Nico, can you hold our magazine and pretend you're reading it? and we did that with Nico Rosberg.
Guerrilla marketing.
It was guerrilla marketing. It was absolutely brilliant. And I actually had a similar moment to you. I asked Takuma Sato. I was like, hey, Takuma, so it must have been 07, 08 when Super Aguri was around. And I got the F off from Takuma. So, it was a lovely F off, but, it was a, oh, man.
It was a motorsports F off.
Yeah, it was like, hey, I'm trying to race a car. So, get out.
Yeah. Are you a Red Bull fan? Always been a Red Bull fan?
Yeah. And actually, I really liked the, what used to be the Toro Rosso team, and also before that, Minardi. Paul Stoddard is a famous Aussie.
Yeah.
He used to own Minardi, and there was a race back in, I think it was 2002, where Mark Webber came 5th at the Australian Grand Prix, and it was such a big deal because it was an Aussie guy owning an F1 team with an Aussie driver.
Yeah.
And to come 5th, in an absolute dog of a car was a really big deal. And so that team ended up becoming Toro Rosso, and then becoming VCARB. So I actually really love this team that we're getting behind. I think it's full of the go-getter spirit, which is really what AirTaskers is all about. And in terms of the athlete development thing, one of the so I'm not sure if Pete sort of shared the background, but Airtasker, marketplace for services, and we're all about people using their skills to make an honest living. And so, when we first started talking about Formula One, we actually got pitched by a sports agent. Hey, you should look into Formula One because we've done all of these media deals across the world. So, with Channel 4 in the UK, and we've got some big television partners here in the US as well. And we were like, hey, since we have so much media, we've got to have a good story to tell, like engaging content and stories to tell. And so we started looking at celebrities. And when I went and spoke to most of the celebrities, it kind of wasn't a fit because it was like the more that you would talk about them, the more that they would charge you. And we were a bit like, oh, that's a bit like off because like we want to be on the same team. We would have thought that you want to get famous, we want to get famous. If we get famous together, that's a good
back scratching. That's how we work, 100%.
Yeah, so we were like, when we came in, got pitched by the agent about Formula One. My initial reaction was like, oh look, it's probably not for us because we're not about glitz and glamour. AirTaskers is not about Ferrari and Rolex and Mercedes. It's about people doing honest work.
That's right.
And so when we initially we said no, but then I got invited by another Aussie tech founder to the Singapore Grand Prix, and we got talking to the Red Bull guys, and we're out the back of the paddock, and we're watching all these people clean tires, moving like HVAC systems around, and then you know what the clincher was? Looking at the pick and pack team, so they would come out in these pink high-vis shirts to wind down all the garages and put them into the cargo ships for the next race. And we're like, that's exactly Airtasker. Like, this is like the embodiment of people doing cool shit at the highest level. Like, so, when they're pick and pack, when they're pick and packing, it's like the best pick and pack you've ever seen. It's like they've got perfect crates for every piece of this garage. I was just like, that's like the ultimate home moving story.
Yeah.
And so that was the thesis behind wanting to tell these stories and do this partnership. And I think it really helped that, I'm into Formula One because I'm totally G'd up. Like watching these guys set up the garage, I'm like, that is the coolest thing ever. And so I guess like the thing that made us sort of stand out is like, we weren't so much about like the fancy car and we're not so much about the really wealthy driver. And we love driving, don't get me wrong, I love it. But the story we want to tell from Airtasker's point of view is, we've got the rear jackman on Isaac Hadjar's car, Renzo, and he's like been working his whole life to be like the best mechanic and the best rear jackman that he can be. And I find that story to be like super, super inspiring and motivating.
No, 100%. It's got a good link. And we've actually tried the services in the UK. So the advert's very catchy. So which F1 are you looking forward to be at this season? Will it be Australia, or do you have a in your head, right, I'm looking forward to going to that F1?
Well, the Australian Grand Prix is coming up in 2 weeks' time, and I'm super excited about this one because, Airtasker is an Australian company. A large portion of our team is based out here, and we have a huge marketplace in Australia. So really excited about going down there, and we're actually going to have a large number of like taskers from our community in the grandstands. So that's pretty exciting, and then a lot of our team going behind the scenes to meet some of these some of the behind the scenes athletes, and also do some cheeky promotion with BCARB. We've also got two incredible media partners in Australia. One is called O Media, OOH, and the other one is ARN. And we're actually using that media to turbocharge our partnership. So we're actually got Renzo, Danny, and Ed, our behind-the-scenes heroes, up on massive billboards all around Melbourne. And we think it's pretty cool because, if you're Yuki or Isaac and, you're used to seeing yourself on a billboard, it'd be kind of cool to like, oh, that's my colleague up on the billboard. Like, about time that, they got to look in. So, we think that, like, this whole thing of celebrating the other members of the team other than the driver and the team principals is going to become a bit of a catchy thing because, like, there really are some pretty special people. And, like, people like Adrian Newey and stuff. People know that. But I think, even at the engineering and the up-and-coming level, there are some really cool characters.
It's unbelievable. I think we saw a video recently with Guy Martin. Do you know Guy Martin?
I heard the name.
Guy Martin is an absolute TV legend, but he's a TT rider. Proper drinks tea, mechanic, but he did a session with an F1 team. And the team, they do the exercises. This is the pinnacle of sport. So yeah, even the guy that does the wheel, it's changed since the 70s.
I heard that the rear jackman is the hardest job. Like, I've listened to a few podcasts, and like, it really is the hardest thing. That the car comes, screeching at 60 miles an hour, and you've got to like run in behind it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I know, and also as well, if the driver's an inch too, if the driver doesn't hit his spot, then obviously they all plan to go in a certain spot. But if he's there, it's fascinating.
And it's legitimately, the pit stop guys. Legitimately, it could be a 10-20 million pound error if it's sort of like, oh, now we're like sixth in the championship instead of fifth. And it's like, yeah, that's because of that pit stop.
100%. It can be won and lost on a pit stop. And it can be one person's fault. It's fascinating. But that's all the whole fun of. It makes it team sport, which is important. Okay, I had another question. Oh, just one question, Tim, as well. Obviously, as a sponsor, obviously we've gone through the link between your company and what you're getting out of it. It's a great link. Obviously, there's going to be huge media platform around the F1 it globally, so that's a good thing. I believe that you're moving into America, is that correct, and more into Europe?
Yeah, so of course, like the UK is something that we've been working on for a while together with Channel 4, and so I'm clearly going to be doing a lot of promotion around the Silverstone event, which I'm really excited about that too. I'm definitely going to go to that one. So
hopefully we'll see you there.
Oh right, yeah, okay, fantastic. I'd love to grab a beer in the paddock or something. And then in the US, actually, like one of our media partners is Televisa Univision, which is based in Miami, and then another is CBS Austin. So that's actually out at COTA, and I was out at COTA. I'm in Austin at the moment, so went out to COTA on Friday. By the way, TV does not do justice to how crazy turn one is. Turn one's like nuts. It's like up a hill and then like a bank sort of like over the top. I was like, that's wild. Like, that'd actually be like legitimately scary, going up there at, 250 or 300 or something.
I don't think that the audience have got an idea. Like, have you heard of Brooklands? It's quite close to me, Brooklands. One of the first racing circuits in the UK. Many years ago. It's owned by Mercedes World now. But if you go to Brooklands, and there's a steep bank, it's a banking oval, and you literally you can't go up it physically. It's that steep. It's crazy. Anyway, listen, Tim, it's been a great conversation. I thank you for your time. We will go through all the details and we'll pop out an article next week. I've also reached out to you on LinkedIn as well. Oh, great! Yeah, I'll be on it. Yeah. Thank you for your time, and listen, I will hopefully see you at Silverstone. We'll follow your exploits in motorsports, and we'll share things across as well. We've used the services. It's a great idea, and I think as well, I think America will be a huge platform for you guys. I just think, I believe so. Yeah, I've been there a few times, and it's a lot of companies. Do you watch Undercover Boss? I have watched a little bit. Yeah. It just seems to me that AirTasker is one of those. I can see you in a few years being the undercover boss. It's going to be massive. So, but it's a great idea, and it's. I think you guys have timed it well because it's difficult out there, and it's giving a chance for people to go and, as you said, to earn a living from working their hard work with their skills, which is needed. Are you working with AI, Tim? A little bit, and I think that. One of our things is that I think that there are going to be a lot of jobs that get AI and autonomous machined away. For example, here in the US, there's a huge proliferation of Waymos on the road, like automated cars being driven around.
And this is why I'm so passionate about what we're doing at Airtasker, because we're all about human jobs.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, that's great. Let's automate some of these jobs that, you know, people don't need to do. It's safer. Like, so we're like really supportive of AI and autonomy. But what are those people going to do? Well, we're kind of like, well, you should jump on Airtasker because everyone's got skills. Everyone needs help. And more than ever, we need people who can just
100%.
bloody fix a fence,
100%.
fix an oven door. And those are things that are probably not going to be, you know, autonomy away just yet. So I think that Airtasker plays really well into that.
No, listen, I wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll catch up at Silverstone
Okay,
and
amazing.
share a bit of passion.